Irina, thank you so much for joining us here at Super Return International. It's great to see you and in your new role.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. You're now here in Europe and sort of making your mark.
Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, ready to go. We kind of landed in Europe properly 6 months ago. I joined 2 months ago. I had a little bit in interim periods between roles, but we are fully set up. We have an office, we have a presence in Europe, a team that's fully functional. We've done our first investment in Europe as well, so we're off to a good start, early days. And yeah, we think the opportunity set is really, really great and ripe for us as well as we come into this market. So
tell me about that opportunity set and what you see versus US in terms of European opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, we are a software-focused investor, so all we do is enterprise software. If you look at Europe, a good European software business looks pretty much like a good US software business. So I think it's a very natural evolution for us to come across the pond. And as a firm, we've made a strategic decision to do that. So we wanted to do it, I guess, two important criteria for us. We wanted to be ready as an organization because we are very operationally focused investors. So we wanted to have the right platform in the US to be able to support our European investments and team as well. So tick the box on that, we've done that. And then we also wanted the market to be, of size and receptive to our approach. And again, we feel, and we made that call 18 months ago, but sitting here today, I think it's even more true today that this is a great market environment to come into. So we're here for the long haul. We're not tourists. We're definitely here to stay and pretty excited about getting properly started.
Tell me about what the triggers were to that in terms of this market having matured enough to really attract people like you.
Yeah. Listen, we're not totally new to making investments in Europe. So over the last decades, the Thoma Bravo US team has done a deal a year roughly across the size ranges. So we had an appreciation of the quality of software businesses that are around. What's important for us is really great technology. We don't compromise on the quality of the product market fit. So are these companies really serving the right customers? We're very happy to partner with businesses that aren't fully optimized. So, we understand what a good software business looks like, how it should be run. And so bringing that to the market is a great opportunity for us. And so that kind of, occasional and more opportunistic investing over the last decade has really solidified our conviction that there is a great market opportunity, but also quite frankly that we need to do it properly, tipping in and out of the market, flying in from the US. That works for a period of time, but we believe you need to be local. This market is still a lot more of a relationship-based market. The US is more transactional, bigger volume, and so you need to earn the right here to be kind of a top choice for CEOs and shareholders to partner with.
And you perhaps need regional expertise.
You do.
It has its own specific challenges. You're dealing across a number of countries, a number of languages. It's very different.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there is no European market, right? We say US versus Europe. But Europe is so many different markets, languages, cultural nuances, go-to-market differences. So we're making a choice as well. We're focusing on a handful of markets in Europe, but cognizant they're great local firms. So where we can, we'll also partner with some of the more regional, local private equity firms. We've done that in our first deal, actually. And so we are, I think, respectful of what is already good in Europe. We try to kind of bring that to the market, as well as the deep sector expertise that is, I think, a lot more evolved in the US. So hopefully the combination of that allows us to win in Europe.
I spoke to Orlando at this conference a year ago, and he was very keen then to talk about how software is across every sector. Because we talked about sector specialisation. But are there specific sectors that you see as absolutely ripe for using software better and for tech development? Is there a sort of focus you have at the moment in terms of that?
We are, we're pretty open. I mean, I guess what's, in terms of the underlying theme, we like structural growth drivers in markets. So where we see a very long runway for software adoption. And if you look at a number of end markets, there's still tech laggards. COVID has corrected that a bit, but I think there's still a long way to go. You look at healthcare, fairly inefficient, but top of mind for everybody after the pandemic. Lots of kind of challenges with budgets and inefficiencies. So that's an area where we think there is a lot of opportunity to automate, to provide software solution to healthcare providers, for patient outcome. We've actually made our first investment in that space, and I think there's more more to come and more to go after. Financial services is another space where we think there is kind of opportunity to penetrate that kind of incumbent financial services space more, and we have deep domain expertise in the US where we've done a lot in the space. I guess the most looked after talent at the moment is CFOs. They are the flavor of the year given the macro environment, so we're doing a lot around office of the CFO as well, so tools that really equip the CFO to do their business better and their daily activities better. So there are some end markets, but we are very open-minded when it comes to kind of the end markets. We just want the robustness of underlying growth.
It's interesting what you talked about there, because we've heard a lot about sort of talent acquisition and talent retention and finding the best people. And you're talking there about actually using technology to even enhance those roles and those people.
Absolutely.
That's sort of amalgamation of two things that need to change in this industry, maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, talent is an interesting topic, right? Because it's been challenge number one for software businesses, because we forget that these are ultimately people businesses, and the total cost base is people. So talent retention has been a challenge. I think it's slightly better now, but it's still our top priority when we think about the businesses we partnering with the existing management teams, but also the broader teams underneath those management teams. And to the extent that we can equip them better in our own businesses to do things faster, better, accelerate, have better outcomes, that's really interesting. And the most topical, I guess, in that space is the adoption of AI tools in software businesses, where we are really kind of, the thinking is really, really advanced in our portfolio companies and new businesses we seek to back to really understand how is AI helping to improve their proposition to customers.
With your tech focus, you brought AI up then. How do you feel about the responsibility behind the headlines we're seeing now about where AI is going and what we need to be aware of when we're promoting and improving the use of AI for the future?
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility too, isn't it?
I totally agree, and it was interesting to see, it was Sam Altman, I think, who recently, I guess, went to, comment on this very, very publicly and actually asking for more regulation. You typically don't hear US CEOs asking for more regulation. That's what Europe is known for. So I think it is on everybody's mind, and I think it is absolutely right to focus on the impacts on society, on job creation or losses of jobs. We'd absolutely kind of buy into that responsibility. If I think about our portfolio companies, ultimately we make our customers' businesses to operate better and more in a more automated, more efficient way. So I think that will just continue. But I think that also basically gets reinvested and creates jobs and opportunities. And in many of our companies, we see that.
We touched on it there just on the subject of AI, but I know it's something that Orlando was keen to talk about last year as well, in terms of your responsibility as an industry going forward now in terms of what you can do in the world.
Yeah.
Tell me, you're now in Europe as well. Tell me what influence you feel you can have in terms of what private equity should be doing in terms of responsible, sustainable investing too.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you say this, because it's a big topic for us. And actually, I feel, I talked earlier a lot about what US investors bring to Europe. For me, this is probably a little bit where the knowledge transfer goes in reverse. I would think Europe is European investors, our LPs, but then also that translates into GPs. They are at the forefront when it comes to ESG and sustainability, both in terms of the GPs themselves, but also then the companies they invest in. So I think we are catching up very quickly. We'd like to be kind of leading the wave in the US, but we'll do it in a business context. So that's kind of, I guess, from a business and GP perspective. So there's definitely cross-fertilization with Europe, which we're super excited about. We have a new senior member of the team who's leading those efforts. So I think we're really kind of accelerating that. And then obviously Orlando is doing a lot at the personal level, and that's what you want. That's what the team wants to do, particularly the generation that is a generation or two behind me, that they're not just about money and making money. They want to have that purpose.
And it's a way of attracting that talent into your firms as well.
Yeah, we are very selective on our talent. I think we have a great team, and that is part of what motivates them and drives them. So it's essential to us.
So you're fairly new in your role at Thoma Bravo. How are you finding the conference? There's 4,000 people here to share ideas with, and it's a pretty sort of baptism
if I'm
of
honest,
fire,
overwhelming,
like,
but of course, no, I've been in role now for two months, so it's great to get my feet under the table. Been busy looking at deals. So this is an amazing opportunity and very opportune as well, because you look at the last 12 months and it's very interesting topics last year, but it's been such a interesting market environment. Everybody talks about the macro challenges. We're feeding those through to asset prices. Public markets corrected, private sellers' expectations are adjusting now. So there's a lot going on. In my personal view, disruption and kind of dislocation creates opportunities, but it's essential for us as an industry to come together. And you can't find a space anywhere. I had an interview standing up just half an hour ago because everything was booked out and couldn't even stand on the pavement. So
it's a good chance to share some insights.
Probably, I don't know, it must be one of the bigger events that Super Return has run. So yeah, it's
biggest
great.
ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
I
I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.